Welcome back to another episode of Infinite Love with Kate. Well, today's episode, the title is What in the Shift Has Transpired? And honestly, it goes along with the title because I'm not even sure my explanation of story time will do justice of the things not only myself, but my sister experienced on our journey to and from Iowa over the weekend for the holidays. But before I begin, hello. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope that you've enjoyed family time. Or if you're not one to celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you just enjoyed time with yourself or with your family, giving thanks and gratitude for what you have in life. I know I did. Extremely grateful for the opportunity to go see my brother and my sister-in-law and their beautiful children, along with my sister and her beautiful children and my parents. It was really, really nice. I'm even supporting the logo. My brother owns a brewery in Iowa, in Dubuque, Iowa. So I'll give a little shout out to Seven Hills Brew Pub. And if you're ever in the area, go visit. Great food, great beverages, even though I don't drink. But I had them before, way in the past, and they're pretty tasty if you like craft beer or creative cocktails. But anyways, this isn't even the point of the story. So, you ready for this? This is basically going to take you on a wild ride of spirituality and what in the shifts have transpired. Because on our way back, we even tried to figure it all out. And we have no answers. None whatsoever. So, here we go. I like how I said, here we go. I'm taking you along, so you're with me. Buckle in. We're ready. So we're driving. It's a long journey, in my mind at least, to Iowa. And to say the least, it's not exciting in the beginning. Very same old, same views, small towns, not much to look at. And then it gets a little bit windy. You go into the bluffs. And I think I'm showing my age because I was getting a little queasy at sometimes. Or maybe that's my sister's driving. We'll never know. But we were sharing our laughs. And then I was putzing around on my phone, playing music, staring out the window, daydreaming as always, or getting licked and attacked by my sister's adorable golden retrievers. But anyways, as we were driving, I had happened to look down for something, and I hear my sister say, "Where are we?" Which is weird because we've driven this road 5,462 times. My brother has gone to university in Dubuque, so we visited him over the years, back and forth. Then he got married, had children, opened the breweries, several. I'm telling you, we know these roads. You don't get lost. You can't just leave a road. You'd have to truly make a huge stop off of a highway, or in the beginning, when you're on Route 20, there's a few stoplights randomly. And that allows you to, exit and maybe hit up a restaurant or get gas. Otherwise, you are not getting off that small highway. Pretty fast, it's windy, and there's no subtle, let's veer to the right and you're off. So we're driving, and then she says that. She says, "Where are we?" And I thought, okay, well, maybe we would have gotten a detour closer to Galena when you get closer to Dubuque. But we were nowhere near this yet. I just, in my head, I'm thinking, we've been on the road for a while, but we haven't been on the road that long. So, of course, she's like, Google it. We didn't have my brother's new address yet, and we kind of made a game out of it. I sent a message to my mom, my sister-in-law, my dad, and my brother. And then 45 minutes had gone by, and I told her, I'm like, who do you think is going to respond first? I'm like, let's make a bet. But anyways, we figured, well, we can always put in the brewery address. So we did. And there it pops up. We are on a small road parallel to the highway, about maybe 20 to 30 miles away from 20, which is what we were on. With no explanation, neither of us can explain how we just managed to kind of run further north as if heading to Wisconsin instead. And we're just looking at each other, and I'm quiet now because in my mind, my soul knew there was a shift. But my human self was like, we need to solve this. And you can't do both. But I was really, really quiet and really determined to figure out the explanation. How do you explain the fact that she had looked down, looked up, and noticed? I had looked down, hadn't even noticed yet, but until she said something, where are we? Where have we just transmuted ourselves to? Where have we just shifted and placed ourselves? And why this road? And there were some small towns that felt a little, energetically, I would say I was taken aback. The vibes were very eerie. But there was purpose to these roads, and I'm not sure what yet, at least. It was for a reason. Well, anyway, so it took us kind of through Wisconsin all the way back, and we got to cross the Mississippi River, ride over a small island in the middle of Mississippi, and then we were on 11th Street, which ironically is straight there facing my brother's brewery. Normally, if we come from another bridge, and then you just have to pass the main road. You could see it off the main road, but this one took us straight past Seven Hills Brew Pub, which was just cute in a way and like different. I don't know. I kind of smiled and giggled to myself because I was like, what else can we do? I don't even understand what the purpose is quite yet, but there is a greater purpose. And that's the key. Don't hold tightly on trying to figure it out. And I know that my little human self was like, I'm going to solve this. Yeah, no. I sat there for a while, and then luckily I got distracted by food. There's always food. So we get to my brother's place, and we explain to everyone like what happened. And we're like, huh. Anyway, so the next 2 days were exciting. I mean, the kids had fun. They were all hanging out. I was exhausted. I snuggled next to my sister. It kind of felt like the Griswolds' Christmas vacation. You know, we're all trying to find beds to sleep in. We're kind of taking over their kids' beds. And so my sister and I snuggled, but 2 golden retrievers laying on top of you is not what I call the best adventure. I mean, hey, we made the most of it. I had my older nephew, making fun of me. He's like, TJ, you're snoring. I was like, I don't know if I was snoring or if I was just gasping for my breath because I had an 80-pound dog laying on top of me. But at some point, I woke up and I sat up trying to shift and move my body into a tight little spot where I could find maybe some reprieve, some comfort. And I guess I moved so fast that I had whacked my forehead off the bunk bed railing, and I pretty much saw birds and fell right back asleep. I woke up the next morning telling my sister that. I was like, oh my God, I don't care, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm up, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go stretch. Because I literally just wanted my body to experience movement. So later on, we end up going out to my brother's restaurant, the brew pub, and that was cute. The whole energy, I love the vibe. I've always loved the vibe of that place, and I'm so proud of my brother and sister-in-law for what they do. The commitment, the love they pour back into the community. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how far my brother has come, and I'm very proud of him for everything that he does for his community, for his family. Ooh, but before I even go on to that, so my sister-in-law, love her. We always tell my brother if we had to choose, it might be the sister-in-law that gets picked. Just saying, she's pretty awesome. She works at a health spa. She does Reiki. And she invited us for a foot cleansing. I don't know. I've never experienced this. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh, is this where you put your feet in the little minnows, gravitate towards them? She's like, no, but that's a cool experience. I said, she's like, no, you basically put your feet, in a bucket of water and it pulls all your toxins out and you can see the colors as they change. I'm like, oh, that's pretty gross. Totally. I was like, cleanse my root chakras, please. So she kind of, treats us to this little special occasion, and my sister and I are just sitting there taking pictures as these stages are going by. And I'm like, I was pretty impressed. Mine didn't change color for a little bit, and I look over at my sister's, and it looked like an oil spill. So I looked at her and said, girl, you need some cleansing. But then mine, turned toxic, and I was just amazed. And then I drank my little positivity. And then she asked if we wanted the vitamin B shot. So we said, why not? I mean, we were kind of just spoiled thanks to her kindness. And it was really cool to see where she worked. I mean, I'm talking zen. And we got the tour and we got upstairs to her little Reiki area, sound bowls and the glass windows and just overlooking this very small, what would you say? It's getting built progressively. So it's tiny town, but you could tell it's growing. It was just the coolest thing. The scenery. I mean, obviously, I love being in this big city. However, put me in a smaller area, dense woods, give me the water, the trees. I am set. You don't need, I can survive anywhere. That's usually my vibe. And like I said, I mean, I'm higher energy, so luckily I can handle the populated areas, but I do need my breaks. So this was pretty cool. Pretty cool to be in that vibe. So anyways, so we get back and then we go out to dinner, and that was a lot of fun. And my youngest, Maxie, my nephew, what a dish. This kid could be a comedic. I don't even know the things that come out of that little man's mouth and the dimples to go with it. Like, he could commit a crime and I probably would still just want to give him a hug because he's so darn cute. And he has so much to say about life, and it's just so unique and profound, yet hilarious. So that's a big shout out. Big shout out to the family this weekend. So here's where part 2 comes along with the shift. We're driving home, and we are basically on a mission to figure out how this happened. So we've been on the road for a while, and it almost seemed like we were going really fast. There was no traffic. Nobody was headed that way. Yet time was going really slow. It usually takes about 3 hours, anywhere between 3 hours and 3.5 hours to get there. So I was on my phone. I had my earbuds. So I had all the proper things with me this time. On the way there, I didn't have my earbuds. I didn't have my mask. So I was like all ready and set to, take a nap if I needed to, or just put on my music so I didn't have to listen. Because if my sister had her radio on, I didn't want to interrupt it by having my phone on. So I like to be polite like that. So I had my earbuds in and I was listening to music, or obviously, jamming through the TikTok, depending on whether or not my Wi-Fi wanted to work throughout the bluffs. And we're driving and we're looking at each other and we're like, this makes no sense. How we were shifted. It makes no sense. Like there literally was absolutely no way. So we had the proof in the pudding that we definitely were moved from one highway to another that ran parallel, but ran north. And in my mind, I hear North Node. So, of course, I'm on the TikTok side of things, and I'm looking up these stories of other people that this has happened to. And the most recent ones were, of a woman and then a guy who was shifted to his small town neighborhood that he grew up in. He was crying while he was telling it because it made no sense. Where he was driving was nowhere near this small town that he grew up in. And then he just happened to look down, look up, and poof. Same thing with a woman. Look down, look up, poof. So it's just wild to me that this happened to us. And luckily, she was there, and my sister was there, and I was there for her to witness this. Like, it wasn't just one of us to then, tell anyone, like, hey, this happened, and be like, oh, yeah, okay. Where it's like, no, we both can't quite understand it. There's no explanation as to why this has happened. So as we're driving and we're making all of these realizations, now we're getting closer to Rockford, Illinois. If you know, that means that we are getting closer to going to another highway, which means that we're halfway home. I always like to look at my destinations with little milestones of like markers, like, ooh, this means we're here, or ooh, this means we only have 20 minutes. That's just how I survive life. And all of a sudden, my sister points out, there's a plane, and that plane looks huge. And, of course, I look up. And by the way, I was struggling already because I am 5 foot. I am one of those amazing little people that sits in a car, and when you're leaving at the wrong time, and by wrong time, I mean the sun rising, sun setting, and you're stuck at that eye level of sunlight, direct sunlight in your eyes, where the visor does nothing. I literally threw on my hood and held it down because I was so sick of holding my hand up like this. And so by that point, I had my hood on. I just looked silly. And I'm looking down and, she's like, look up. And of course, like, I do it so quickly, I forget, like, bam, sunlight in the eyes. So I finally see it. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, this plane, it felt like when you're close to an airport. I was where was I? I'm trying to think of, like, I think LA. I think I've seen it in LA where if you stand in a certain spot, you can watch planes. And I can't even think of where I was. I don't know why I can't think of the name of the place, the island I was just at last year. But you basically could stand on the beach and watch this plane. And they look, I mean, like you could just touch it. Obviously not. But that's how surreal it is because you're further away. And we didn't even realize there was an airport. So there was an airport in Rockford. And I'm telling you again, in the 5,462 times that we've traveled back and forth to Iowa, we've never, ever, ever witnessed a plane. And if there was one, it was way up, that it was so small. But this was so big. So we're watching this plane coming at us because my sister says something weird like, God, I hope they don't have to land on the highway. Because it just didn't make sense. Like, why are we seeing this plane coming at us? Why is it so freaking big? If I had 20/20, I probably could see in the window who was sitting in the planes, but I don't. So we both she's driving, and I don't know how she followed it, but we're both kind of like eyeballing it and looking to the right. And I look out the right side of my window, and I'm like, Erin, before I could say anything, because in my head I'm thinking, did time just stop? Is that plane stuck in midair? Because I know we're moving. I know they're moving. We literally watched how fast they moved. They were flying, and all of a sudden we're looking, and it's not moving. Shit you not, it's not moving. And before I can even spit it out again, my sister's like, is that plane stuck? And in my mind, it's almost like someone pressed the remote control and paused that plane midair. And again, now my mind is like, okay, this is heavy. How are we both seeing this? How are we both witnessing this? I could not stop looking at that plane. It never moved until we finally got out of sight. Now, I've seen many planes while I'm driving, and they still move. While you're moving, they're moving. So make it make sense. Someone said something about the optical illusion. I said, no, there's no optical illusion. You can't tell me there's an illusion in that one because I've stared at the sky long enough. I've stared at planes moving. I've stared at planes while I've been in moving objects, trains, cars, boats. You see it. You see the movement. It makes sense and it feels right. This did not feel right because my mind could not make sense of it. It literally stopped. Big plane, just midair stopped. And it's heading towards Iowa. We're heading towards Illinois, and I just looked at my sister. There's some kind of energy moving out that way. I don't know what that is, but I don't know if it's a portal. I don't know what type of shift that was. I go, but it was meant to be. I go, the fact that you and I together shared the same energy, same energetic field of what the shift, as I like to call it. Yeah. So these are my stories. I'm sticking to them. And you could tell me otherwise, or unless you have something greater to tell me, I would love to hear it. Please feel free to message me in here on YouTube or go to my platforms. There is a little button that says message, leave a message. I always love to hear people's feedback. Good, bad, ugly, sad, all of it. I'm open for it. I'm open to receiving. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful you're here to listen to this chaos of what I call the last couple days. But yeah, it's the first of the month. Happy December 1st. I woke up feeling like $1,000,000. However, I got a new pillow. And this pillow is, thanks to my sister-in-law, just allowing me to sleep face down again on my stomach. You can tell I'm healing because I forgot to tell you. It was like I've been wanting to get out. Even though it's flippity-dippity cold out, I've been wanting to get out to walk. And especially after a big meal. That Thanksgiving meal was huge. Or it's just I don't have an off button and I love food. Could be that too, I guess. Accountability, fine. But I told my brother, I said, can we go for a walk? He's like, sure. So we had dinner early, so it was still light out. And I think the sun was setting. So we took his dog. Yeah, 3 dogs, 3 golden retrievers. And he took me up and down. Well, not realizing this was like a hilly area. Luckily, we weren't out too long. We were at the dog park, but it was very up and down, incline. And it did a good number on my surgical areas. I definitely felt it when I got back. And I have the green light to go work out. And I've been wanting to work out. And of course, this is when the weather gets really crazy. But I've been desiring to just kind of get out and run. Haven't quite ran yet. I was happy enough to get out and do this walk. And I got back. And I actually had to have him stop twice because I was like, ooh, 1, I'm out of breath. 2, that was a lot of food I ate. And 3, definitely a feeling on my scar line. So we got back and I was grateful. I did a lot of stretching after that. And then I was still hungry because God forbid I work out and walk off some of that weight I ate. So of course I was hungry. I'm a champion of food, just if you don't know. But if you do know, you're nodding your head, smiling, and laughing at me because you know. But so the next morning, we all wanted to go for a walk, including my dad. My brother had taken my dad out. They went down earlier than we did. So we went. My brother's like, do you want to go over 1 mile, 3 miles? Now, we knew that we had a busy day because we knew we were going to go get our feet detoxed and then we were going out to eat. And I also was, I think, the only person that looked up the weather and noticed that it was in the teens. So I was like, 1 mile sounds great. Everyone kind of looked like, just 1 mile? Yeah, they were lucky because he took us to Mississippi River. Now, in the fall or late spring, this would be stunning. The most beautiful walk. So it's just one narrow strip, long strip, 1 mile long that you walk, probably a half mile there, half mile back. And you just walk and you're surrounded by the river on both sides. But we were also surrounded by very intense winds and the cold from the Mississippi River. It was freezing. We had my dad, I forgot. So we had 4 dogs. So we had my dad's dog, that's my best friend. And even she was looking at me like, what? You're nuts. Although I'm pretty sure she was ready to jump into that icy, frigid winter rip. And my dad's like, she's on her own. My sister and I look at each other like, we would save you. But we also said it would be nice to put our feet in there. We didn't do it, don't worry. It's just because I didn't want to be real. I was already frozen. I had no lips. And so we got to the end and it was really, really pretty. Just the colors, the way the sun was reflecting. That's a really cool vibe. So then we got back and we did our whole foot cleansing, detoxing, vitamin B shot. And that's it. That's my last 2 days. The past 2 days, honestly, all this in 2 days. It's been wild. And I've loved it. And I love that it's December 1st. And after this, I get to start putting out my Christmas decorations. But I also got to go back to work tomorrow. It was nice having a whole week off. But I'm ready. I'm ready for, the next couple weeks before we're on our next Christmas break. And I just love it. I love where life leads. And it's funny because I have no idea where it will take me. But I feel like every day is a new blessing. And I get to share it with all of you. So thank you for listening to this wild and crazy What the Shift Has Transpired episode. Love to all of you and have an amazing day. Take care.